channel again. This is Cloud Institution, so the best cloud training institution in Bangalore. Now today in this video we're going to see another S3 interview question series. Okay, so now we're going to see what is the storage classes, S3 storage classes, right? So in S3 we have different types of storage classes, so we're going to see today that what is S3 storage classes and what are the different types of storage classes are there, why we need to use storage classes and when we need to use storage classes. Okay, this is going to be very interesting, and this particular type of question must be asked in all the interviews. Okay, so this specific question is being asked by me, or I have, so there are many when I'm attending interviews in various companies, I have been asked many times of this particular question. Okay, so this question is very important, guys, and if so please watch these questions carefully. So what is S3 storage classes? So we all know that so S3 we can store the object levels, so we can store the data using the object level. But now the AWS provides the various storage classes, so including standard intelligent tier and standard IA and one zone IA and Glacier and then Glacier deep archive and so on. Okay, so each classes has a different pricing and availability and durability. So this particular data will be so determined based on how much time it will take for you to access the data. Okay, so if you're able to access, for example, if you're just like as I mentioned with you, just like a Google Drive, right? So for example, if you want to download some files from the Google Drive, okay, if it is taking 1 hour of a time to download some 100 MB of file, so how does it mean? Or so in other ways, like so I have some files, I want to store in a Google Drive, but I will not be able to, I won't be accessing that particular file for next 1 year or 1 year or so. Okay, so in this case, we can use different types of if we can type different types of storage classes where so the cost also will be less. Okay, so we'll see how to choose the storage classes for S3. Now, if you can go for S3, so this is the S3 bucket, in all the S3 bucket, I have this S3 bucket. Okay, so whenever you want to upload some files, for example, I have one file, so I have one file. I'm not sure if I'm able to um, drag and drop here. Okay, so that's not working. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this file and add files, so I'm going to choose this, choose this file, Cloud Institution logo. Okay, this is my company logo, right? So Cloud Institution logo, and so the destination is going to be this one. So as you can see here, so in the under the properties, if you click under the properties, you'll be finding the storage classes. Okay, destination designated for what purpose? So bucket type, a general purpose, availability zones. Okay, so minimum duration and minimum billable objects. So if you can see, these are all the storage classes are available. Okay, the standard intelligent tiering and standard IA and one zone IA. Okay, so the glacier. So the glacier is very important, guys. The glacier is some of the concept, so very important aspect of your interview and aspect of your examination point of view. If you are writing or if you're planning to write the AWS Solution Architect exam or AWS Cloud Practitioner exam, so the glacier option is very important. Okay, most of the times people will be asking the question on what is glacier. Okay, so now I'm going to explain to you about so what is the difference between standard and then the glacier and then all the other services, right? So okay, so now what is standard? First of all, what is standard means, so frequently access data. For example, I'm just storing some data, but I wanted to access those data frequently. Okay, so then we need to choose, for example, so every 2 days or 3 days once I'll be accessing this data. Okay, so then that is going to be stored as a frequently accessed data. Okay, so we have intelligent tiers, so these are all not primarily used, so data with a changing or unknown access platforms. So for this kind of a platforms, so data can be, so unknown access patterns, so if you don't know like what's the known what's the access patterns, if you don't know what's the access patterns, then you can use the intelligent tiers. Okay, so infrequent access data for 1 month with the millisecond access. For example, standard IA, standard means the standard with the infrequent access data. For example, if you're accessing your data, for example, if you're uploading this file, if you're up, so your customers are accessing this data once in a month, okay, then it'll be able to use the standard IA, okay, and one zone IA means so recreatable and infrequent access data in 1 month with a millisecond access. Okay, so this is the one zone IA. So now let's come to very important concept on glacier. Okay, so the glacier flexible retrieval, formerly glacier. Okay, so glacier deep archive. Okay, so ready redundancy. So these three things are very important, guys. So if you go for interview. So what is so Glacier instant retrieval? Okay, long-lived Orchid data access once a quarter with an instant retrieval in milliseconds. For example, I have some data. For example, some log files, right? So in some kind of auditing companies, so they'll be having log files for the auditing purpose for the 1 year and 2 years log files. They'll be keeping in the in the storage for the auditing purpose. So what happens is the Glacier instant retrieval is that this is the so if you're not going to access your data once in a quarter, so if you're accessing your data once in a quarter, okay, so then with the instance retrieval of milliseconds, okay, so I'll be accessing my data once in a quarter, but I want retrieval in milliseconds. Okay, so then for this type of things, you can use Glacier. Okay, so now what is the millisecond duration? So minimum storage duration is going to be 90 days. You can just keep it for the duration. So now the Glacier flexible retrieval, formerly Glacier. Okay, so long live archival data access. So once a year with a retrieval of minutes to hours. For example, if you save your files with a Glacier flexible retrieval, then okay, so for example, if you're accessing your data once in a year, for example, once in a year, then you can use this particular option. Then it will take 5 minutes to 1 hour of time to access the data. For example, if you want to download this particular data, it will take 1 hour of time. Okay, but what is the advantage of using this one? Okay, so whenever we are comparing with the standard, the standard storage class, so the Glacier flexible retrieval is pretty cheaper. Okay, so when compared to other storage options, this is very cheaper, right? So the another one is the Glacier Deep Archive. Okay, so long-lived archive data access less than 1 year, once a year with a retrieval of hours. So now, so deep archive. What is deep archive? So all the data, whatever you are saving, that particular data or files and folders will be archived, and then it will be sent it to some long distance space. Okay, so now if you wanted to access this particular data again, or if you want to download that particular package again, what you have to do, it will take 1 hour of time, from the time, so from the moment when you start downloading, it will take 1 hour of time to so to retrieve the particular data. So that's called Glacier. Okay, so these are all the storage classes are there. Okay, another one is reduced redundancy, non-critical frequently accessed data with a milliseconds, so not recommended for S3. Standard is more cost effective. Okay, so reduced redundancy and standard is both the same, so but if you use this one, it will be like costly, so that's what it's just telling, not recommended, as S3 standard is more cost effective. Okay, so now, so you must be understanding what is storage classes, right? So if interviewer is asking you like what is storage classes and what type of storage classes I want to use. For example, there are two types of interview questions they may ask. Hey, I have one file, I will be accessing this particular file frequently, so once in a week. So which storage class you'll suggest? So in this case, so you have to tell that, so I'll be choosing the standard storage class, okay, which is this one. Now, the same way, the interview may ask you that, hey, I have one file, I will never be using for next 1 year. Okay, so I don't mind, how much time it will take to access it. So which storage class you will be using it. So then the answer for this particular question will be I'll be using Glacier Deep Archive, which is so less than once in a year I'll be accessing with the retrieval of hours. Okay, so based on what type of storage and so what level of access you want. Okay, so based on that one, you can choose the storage classes, right? So hope you understand this question, guys. This particular question is very important in terms of interview. Okay, so all the interviewers, they may ask you the same question, so yeah, so thank you so much for watching this video, guys. So hope this video is really helpful for you to prepare your interview questions. Okay, if you like this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and please stay tuned for rest of the videos in the future.